A really big reason why I'm actually glad that I started this challenge, even though I failed it, was because randomly a couple days ago, I was just like, I want to read the Twilight books. If you saw last week's video, then you know that I failed my November writing goals. However, I still want to share what I did accomplish before ditching my manuscript, as well as what I've learned, and also share a little reading update. Okay, so I actually wrote about 13,000 words this month, and that got me to the midpoint of my novel because I wasn't really writing long chapters. It was just whenever I felt like I was done with the chapter was done, and I was going to add more words in a future month. However, 13,000 words in about 2 weeks was quite a lot for me, and I was really proud of that because prior to that, I had written 13,000 words in a month, and that was like the biggest month I've ever had writing. So the fact that the further along I've gotten on this writing journey, I can put a lot more words down, I'm feeling really good about that, and I feel like it's becoming a lot easier to write more words. Now, were all the words good? No, but at least I was able to keep on going and keep pushing myself even when I wasn't feeling too motivated. I definitely realized that I was able to still write because I was more disciplined than I used to be, even when I didn't have that motivation to keep going. If you did miss my last video, then I'll just quickly say I scrapped my book because it was completely boring and I didn't want to keep writing something that was boring. It had no development. I didn't plot enough as much as I should have in October, and that really set me back, but that's okay. A really big reason why I'm actually glad that I started this challenge, even though I failed it, was because I came to the realization that I hated my story. I feel like if I would have slowly tried to write the story out over the course of 3 months or longer, it would have taken me that amount of time to realize this isn't a story I'm resonating with. So by doing so much in such a short amount of time, I came to the realization that I needed to start over, and I feel like I didn't waste as much time as I could have potentially if I didn't start this challenge. I'm also feeling really excited again because part of what I decided to do after scrapping my manuscript was actually just spend a lot of time brainstorming. So for the past week, I've just been writing out different scene ideas, thinking about how I want my characters to interact with each other, thinking about really interesting plot twists, and that's making me feel so excited. I know I'm still going to be one of those people where I discover new things as I continue actually writing the story, but going into the story having some really exciting scenes is making me feel really motivated to actually start writing again once January comes. And I've also just learned a lot about myself and my writing process this month. Going back to coming to realizations faster, I just don't feel like I would have put this much time into understanding myself better if I had given myself a longer amount of time to try to accomplish a goal. So I gotta say, even though I failed this challenge, I feel like I got so much out of it. In one of my other videos, I talked about micro sprints and how I realized when my brain is already in work mode because I'm actually at work, that's also a really good time for me to write, even if I only have 5 minutes to do so, instead of only choosing to write when I have free time, and that requires a lot more discipline. Of course, discipline is still important, and I do write in my free time, but giving myself the permission to write when I'm doing other things and I have that capacity to do so has been a game changer for me. Even though I'm not currently working on my manuscript in terms of writing the story itself, I'm still brainstorming, and I've been finding that a lot of my ideas have been coming when I'm at work and I have 5 minutes of time to just switch to another tab and write down some ideas. I'm curious to know if you've learned anything about yourself or your writing process this month, whether or not you failed or succeeded at reaching your November goals. Okay. So, time for a little reading update. I'm in the middle of 3 books right now. I'm currently reading Twilight, and I want to get to that in a second, but I'm also reading A Diary of Blood and House of Hunger. I started both of those books either at the end of last month or early this month, and because of all the writing I was initially doing and now brainstorming that I'm currently doing, I just haven't gotten around to finish either of them. And then randomly a couple days ago, I was just like, I want to read the Twilight books. So I had to call up my local used bookstore because all the other ones near me were closed at 5 p.m. on a Sunday, which still blows my mind. And they had the first 3 books in store, so now I just need to find the last book. But anyways, does anyone else just get like the random urge to read a book that you read when you were like 12 years old and then just see if it's still good? I don't know, but I've been reading this and I've only read the first chapter, but I hate to say it, but I feel like it's as good as I remember, and I thought I was gonna hate it Or maybe I didn't think I was going to hate it because I bought all 3 books. But I'm really enjoying this book and I can't wait to finish it. But because this is a whole series, I'm going to finish the rest of Twilight after I finish A Dowry of Blood and House of Hunger, just to get those out of the way. But all 3 books have been really good so far, and I can't wait to just continue reading because I haven't read so much in a long time, and so this year has really been just me getting back into reading. So if you've read any books this month, or if you're currently reading one, share what you're reading down below. I could always use some more recommendations.